Gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the precious day that you've given us today, the good weather, spots of rain and everything. You just know what we need, what we need, and we're thankful for everything that you give us. We're just thankful to be able to enjoy it. We pray that we make Christian decisions that will be pleasant in your eyes and for the benefit of the town tonight as we have our council meeting. We pray all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen. Please join me in pledge allegiance to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Is there any add-ons to the amendments for our agenda tonight? Okay. So I hear a motion for the approval of the minutes as presented for the call meeting on July the 7th, 2014, and regular scheduled meeting on July 14th, 2014. I hear a second. I hear a second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Okay. The approval of the financial statement for July the 14th. I hear a motion.
Motion made.
Second.
Been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Other than mayor's comments, there's quite a few things here to tell you this evening. First of all, the movie, August 22nd at the Jeff Cagle Pavilion, the movie title is Gus, 7:30. This is starting time for that. The Merryville Community Health Center is celebrating National Health Center Week this week, August 11th through the 16th. You can look at this card after I meet with OS, and I'm going to post this out there on the bulletin board. It says, "We welcome your visits and arrange for your personal tour." And I think everybody knows this is over on Walker Street. So those interested in that, this is through Friday. There'll be a blood drive here August the 22nd here in the where we're meeting at this evening. The time for that will be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I think that's going to be put in the paper. Mr. Mark Allen has sent out some flyers or posted them out. Hope we get a good turnout for that. There will be a bake sale down at the nursing home on August the 27th at 8 a.m. So if you want to go down there and purchase some of their items, you need to get there early because it goes pretty fast. This is ones that are interested in good gospel music. Jerry Day is one of them that's going to be there. He'll be singing at the Backward Church. It's up on 111 off of 190. You take 111 like going to Anacoca Creek up there, just before you get to the creek on the left. And that'll be at 7 p.m. this Friday night. The papers are still out on our police SUV car. As soon as we finalize and get the rest of those papers back from the bond commissioner, that the SUV will be ordered. They've already brought in the arguments, and they're stored over at the barn here in town. So the overlaying of 110 out here, when they're going to start, I don't know. I talked to DOT. They kind of under contract when they're going to get started on that. And I think their time is drawing pretty close to the end. But there'll be a lot of traffic out there on 110 when they start that. School, you know, it started back, and we've got our buses running down the roads and kids getting on and off the buses. Let's pay extra attention to that, to these young people getting on and off the buses, and let's keep that safe.
I got a question about that. Can we extend the school zone sign, or does the school board have to approve that?
The state does it.
Or the state does? I think it's not covering too much of the school. I mean, it starts.
No,
It used to be further out, and they moved it back in.
Yeah, other like that, I'm sure. The football field, softball field, and all that, it's still down there, it costs a lot. Especially when we don't change it till you reach the other.
When you go around that curve, you right up on it anyhow. You got a good point. Is there a possibility we can put in the city by changing it?
I can call DOT and see what they say.
That'd be a good thing, that's a good point.
Is that your wish?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Final thing I have, starting August the 29th, City Hall will be closing at 2 p.m. August 29th, so each Friday thereafter, they'll be closing at 2 p.m. here at City Hall. Is there any old business?
Yes.
Okay. We got a resolution to adopt the millage rate for the 2014 tax roll. We've already discussed that. Do I hear a motion to adopt this resolution?
Motion made. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not opposed? Okay. That will stay in effect the next year, then they'll reappraise everything according to the tax assessor's office. Under new business, Mr. Milam, the way I assume this, he started work at the JAG office. Is that correct, Mr. Welborn, at Fort Pope?
Yes, sir, he did as a legal advisor for the military.
So Mr. Welborn, I've already met with him, and I'll let him introduce himself for the appointment of our new town attorney. Mr. Welborn.
How you doing? Thanks for having me. I know that your relationship with Mr. Milam over the past many years has been very good and successful. You know, can overpass a lot of ordinances or questions you ever go there. And hopefully we stay in a really good contact and discuss everything with each other. And I've had links that I've been reading on from municipalities. By no means am I as knowledgeable as he was when he left here, but hopefully if you decide to go with me as your town attorney, then I can learn and become as knowledgeable as he was eventually. It won't be anytime soon, but I can try to get there. So, my name's John Welborn. I live in DeRitter and grew up in DeRitter. Decided to come back. I'm an assistant district attorney at for the 36th district attorney in Boulevard, Mr. Burke. So that's what I'm doing right now, and I kind of eased into Mr. Keith's practice. We didn't quite know he was going to be going this soon, but I think he's happy with his new job, and I have the stresses of law practice.
So you're working out of his office?
I am.
It's your office now?
Sorry.
Don, I see you got your sign out there and everything. don't
Yes,
you?
sir.
Your office.
How long have you been practicing?
I've been practicing for a year. It's not as much as other attorneys, but I definitely have the work ethic to get you the information that you need. So that's the one benefit you can have. But the downfall would be I don't have 30 years experience. So
Well, nobody coming in would have the experience with the town and like he.
yeah, I think you have a lot of experience. Hopefully I could gain the knowledge that he had from resources that he looked into and do something similar to that and keep a smooth transition going.
Well, I know he recommended you, and I know that he'll have a close relationship or something.
I know that municipalities and the town of Merryville is one of his passions. One of the things he was very upset to actually have to leave in his move. So I think he still wants to be plugged in and be involved.
I'd like to ask Mr. Eads if this is your choice for town attorney.
It is. I've talked to Mr. Welborn, I think it was 2 weeks ago, come this Thursday, I went by his office and talked to him, and he will carry on just like Mr. Milam did, and He has he'll do an excellent job, and he has a good record to go back to. Mr. Mylum, I'm sure Mr. Mylum, anything services that he'll help you out with it, and I appreciate you retaining and taking over his position here for our county attorney. Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Mr. Wilburn as county attorney.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed. Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Mr. Fred, mobile home application. Mr. Fred?
Yes, sir. We've submitted 2 sets of pictures and I'd like to bring it to Merryville. I have 2 lots ready for it.
Yeah, we've seen.
Fred, I have a couple of things I'd like to say.
Yes, sir.
I just got some comment from out there off of, 7 Place Road there, checking the trail out. And everything was up there, and I see where you, put a paint on the outside. Okay, the roof is all rusted up. The bottom installation's all falling down. One of the back windows is busted out of it. What year is that trailer?
This one, the one with the picture?
The old one, the one, the old one.
Yeah, one is 97 and one is 205. 97, 1997.
And what's that one?
205, 2000.
That's 1997, and I think got in that shape.
They don't take it long.
But anyhow,
It is
all the
in-
tires and axles are going off.
Yes, sir, when the,
Yeah. Well, the reason I'm saying, Fred,
yes,
I know for a fact, because I got one of your trailers next to me. Whenever you bring them in there, it seems like once you got them on their property, that you got somebody in there that's the end of it. Okay? We got ordinances here that you're supposed to have tie downs. I'm going to use the trailer next to me as an example. We got ordinances where you're supposed to have tie downs on each end, one on each end, and then one on the other end. On that particular trailer, how many tie downs they got on it?
as soon as you mentioned it to me, we did put down tie downs on it.
It's got 2 tie downs on it. Okay, 2. One on the front, one on the back. Okay. The insulation on that's falling down. And what about the skirting? What's the policy?
I'm working on it, I just painted the trailer, if you notice.
I mean, you know, it's been that way. Okay, it's been that way.
It-
The back of it has not had no skirting on it for 2.5 years. Okay, and the old cats get up there and yank your installation down. In the long run, it causes you problems. Okay?
Yes,
And then whenever somebody moves out of that area, you know, you got big old piles of trash back there that other people left,
yes,
you know, and big old piles of rock in the front of the thing. That devalues our property. That's the reason
Yes.
we're concerned about bringing something like that.
I have always tried to clean up the mess around and everywhere, so.
You know, we've been going at this a long time.
Yeah.
A long time. And whatever trailer you put on, I hope you realize that the tongue of the trailer's got to be at the opening of the road, not pulled in there like it's pulled in backwards next to my house.
Thanks, sir.
But that roof is all rusted up. What I would like to see on the.
I'm gonna do that sealer on the top, sir.
What I would like to see myself, as an old trailer there and everything, that you know, if it's within a reasonable location, which that is, you know, you go ahead and do the things that need to be done to it, and we go out there and check it out, you know, and make sure that the things are done. When we bring them in here and get them in there, and it's you know,
I'm gonna try my best and,
that
after I'm done,
other trailer looks real nice, you know, and everything. I ain't got a big heart there on myself. I don't know about other people, but,
thank you.
Well, from the pictures and from Mr. Bennett's actual looking at the trailer, there's no way that I think we need to approve moving that trailer right now until that trailer is brought up. Another spec. The other trailer, I don't have any problem approving. But right now, I'm not gonna recommend you to approve that trailer.
Is it everybody or everybody's against it or?
Well, I am.
Separate. See if we can do the motion on one place, 1997.
Okay, I'll make a motion on the first trailer, on the older trailer, that we do not accept the application or grant an application.
A second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
1997 is rejected.
Everybody rejected it?
No, we just had a vote on it.
We just voted on it.
Okay.
Now, on the 2005 trailer, then I make a motion that we grant the
What
application.
about, I got a question, before we get digging it further. I know you're talking about the skirting around the trailers and all this other. What about the rest of the trailers in Merryville that don't have skirting?
Well, if they had
All
been,
of that
they
other
had,
stuff
no,
that's in there.
this is a law that's put in afterwards, which is a terrible situation. But somebody already got it property there before we make the rules. It's hard to go back and say, hey, you gotta go do this. And that was a problem.
There's some that's been moved in that don't have it, but I think y'all need to say something. Try to do something.
Make it fair.
Yeah.
We should agree to the law.
And, well, now, we do have the authority to enforce the ordinances, as far as you were talking about, the trailers that are in existence now.
Yeah.
There's trailers here in town that are not skirted. And if you remember, that's actually your responsibility.
I know, but I don't know which one falls under the,
Well, actually,
exactly which one's.
I'm not sure that they would be grandfathered. The ordinance says that all trailers, there's no grandfather involved in that. All trailers are supposed to be brought up to code, with the skirting especially. And there's still trailers that are.
Is that law still in effect, sir, that grandfather law?
I'm sorry?
That grandfather law that,
Well, I'm not sure.
can,
We'll have to get our new
Can
attorney
you go
on that, but.
within the Merryville, one trailer from other place?
One trailer per lot, I think. But, now the tie downs, that's a minimum, but that's for safety for everybody. We get high winds come through here and we ain't got them trailers tied down. We put a lot of
Yes,
people in jeopardy. if
Yes,
they crash the road.
sir. I understand, sir, yes, sir.
I got something. When you said something about the trailer didn't have any axles or tires on it? the trailer-
Obviously, he's gonna have to get some axles and tires. before he can
Yeah,
move it.
because the trailer
And first-
company takes those.
Well, if they sell them, if the individual sells them. But I understand he would obviously can drag it.
I got mine 10 years ago out. They took mine and told me if I chose to move my trailer, I was more than welcome to come out there and they would they would loan them to me, but they were not mine.
They messed over you because I was part of the problem.
And another thing, the insurance doesn't cover you if you have axles and wheels on it. Insurance is hard to get, so that's.
Obviously, he would get axles and tires and go down the road.
Yeah, you have to.
I used to understand where you buy those. I know they used to go around, people had tires and We're gonna have a motion on the newer trailer.
Yeah, I did make a motion.
We're a second.
Where is the new one going to, 2004?
Fifth,
On Fifth Street? That goes church, that's across 389.
Okay.
You go to the curve, back to your right, that's Fifth Street.
This one is pretty new.
My daughter's little friend goes back there.
And then we got a motion.
No, not on the 2005.
Uh,
Get on the 97, not 2005.
second the motion.
All in favor?
Still, that question about the grandfather law, is that law still in effect, sir?
Well,
Can a person move a trailer within Merryville from one lot to another?
Right. If it's moved, if you move it, then it definitely has to be skirted.
Yeah.
And then he has to bring it back before the county
But
council
it,
if it's being moved from one location to the next.
it has to be approved, it can be moved.
But then it's the same law, why is it called grandfather? Grandfather law means I can, without coming in here, I can move from my one property to another property without asking you guys. With all the,
No.
everything I take in it, you know, skirting and everything.
According to the ordinance.
Why is a grandfather law? It's the same law then?
A grandfather would be a continuation of something that's already in existence, as opposed to something that if you move from even inside, if there's an ordinance, you're choosing, making the decision to move it into a different location, have different surroundings. So the grandfather clause would protect you until you decided to make the move, if that's how the ordinance is set up, to protect you at the move.
Well, there are two laws, right? Like I brought two sets of pictures here, that law. So these guys can make a decision if I can bring it or not. And there's another law that I already have a trailer in Merryville, I want to move it to next door.
No, the ordinance reads, no mobile home or house trailer shall be located in the town of Merryville without a permit having been obtained for such location. Anyone desiring to locate a mobile home or move an existing mobile home must apply for
I was just asking you, I was just confused about the grandfather law. If you can clear it up for me, that's all I was asking.
Okay, well, that's the existing ordinance now. Either way, you gotta get an application.
Okay.
And then the said trailer has to be skirted.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So you don't make a motion, you don't have a second, and you gave for the 2005 trailer.
So the 2005 is good.
That's okay on 2005, Mr. President.
Yes, sir, thank you, sir.
That gets started too.
Yes, sir, thank you, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir, thank you.
thank you. Next on the agenda is the moving of the city limits. What this is up here on 190, everybody knows where Mr. Philip Myers' property is at. Just on the north, his fence line there. Proposing to move the city limit sign where it's at right now, at 4/10 of a mile, up to Mr. Philip Myers. And we'll have to have a special local meeting next month at 5:30 for anybody that's in opposition. Mr. Philip Myers already has no problem with this. And this is for annexing both sides of 190. Not just one side, both sides of 190.
You're talking about between Philip Myers and the, where they have that
Auction place there, right there where his corner fence is at, and I had y'all some pictures last month, that shows where we're moving it to. So, I'd like to ask for this falls up under a resolution here too, doesn't it? Or, does this fall under resolution or ordinance? Or moving the city limits?
I think this would go under ordinance, but I can double check.
the purpose of that there will help us on tax wise.
On sales tax, anything that's falls inside city limits, no sales tax, we receive a small percentage of that. And,
What they put the state to a vote to do the city limit.
Well, we can't go over it yet.
no,
Maybe I said we had to.
Yeah.
We'll do that next meeting. I'm just introducing moving of the city limit right now. Yeah, it's gotta be put in place, yeah.
Right, but won't we have to type up the ordinance first?
They'll have to, I'll get the steps, it's probably multiple steps to make sure you follow procedure.
We can go ahead and introduce the resolution tonight.
We're not making no vote on it tonight. We're just introducing. Leaving it city limits tonight. Next on the agenda is a side-by-side. Well, I didn't know we were introducing that before, if we were gonna do that next meeting. We gotta do that tonight.
We have to introduce it tonight and vote on the fact that we don't know
Okay, we're introducing it tonight, then a motion of the moving of the city limits, 4/10 of a mile, where it's at now, on 190, hear a motion,
Motion made.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So there will be a special open meeting next month, for discussion of this at 5:30.
That's right. Next month.
Next on the new business is the side-by-sides on back road within the Merryville city limits. This is open for discussion, right? Council.
Jennifer looked up the state ordinances on operating these vehicles on off-road vehicles. And I'll just kind of go over a little bit what it says here. Off-road vehicles including but not limited to three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and all-terrain vehicles not specifically designated for road use may travel on the shoulders of public roads and highways except interstate highways in the manner provided by this section solely for the purpose of farm-related activities. And then it goes down on number 2, it says off-road vehicles may travel on the shoulder of any public highway or roads except interstate highways during each day starting 30 minutes after sunrise and 30 minutes before sunset. Incidental crossing of public roads or highways shall be authorized. Okay, and then it goes on and talks about universities and all that kind of stuff. It seems that there's been a little bit of a problem with people getting stopped. Okay. And what I want to know is I want to find out from my police chief what your standing is on this situation. What do you?
The problem that we're having with the side-by-side, and it's not everybody, it's the select few. They're going down there off the Sawmill Road or off the Division Street, Fraser Street, to the dirt road. They're cutting donuts in the middle of the road, tearing up the road.
No, you're saying they're operating in a dangerous manner, is that what you're saying?
And it's not everybody, it's just the select few that's doing it. I think it's kids, it's not grown folks that's doing it, it's kids.
What type of vehicle are we talking about?
It's a UTV, it's
Those new razors.
basically what it is, like a golf cart on steroids.
When you stay up that road, I'm thinking of the road.
Unfortunately, the side road with what we're doing here, we got a lot of ditch and everything else, that's not very, you just, it's all,
You don't need to stop everybody from riding, if you just got one or two.
where you want to ride at.
They buy them, they spend this kind of money, they $100,000 worth of them on that loop where I live over there. And I don't have no problem with people riding over around my house, across the road, around my stuff, they have never go where that. But there's a lot of people got them things, and they buy them, and then they'll turn around and tell them they can't ride. So.
Well, here's the issue on that. If they was to hit a vehicle, who would be liable for that? They don't have insurance. I mean,
Well,
not
now,
everybody's gonna put
The
insurance.
law now, if you stay on that highway, you can't go with them.
Sir,
No, you stay on the highway.
well, that's not what this says. The state law says that they do have to show proof of insurance. They have to be insured.
That makes sense.
I'll tell you now, there's not a whole lot of insurance companies that's gonna insure one of them for rural.
Well, and we're not going to try to pass any resolutions here tonight that's going to go against anything that the state says you can't do. We can't do that. And we're not going to do that, I don't think. But what I'd like to see is that you decide how y'all are going to handle this. If you're going to keep the kids from doing the donuts or whatever, or somebody's just going from one house to another to visit to, you know. How you gonna
You
handle
got to
that?
stop kids
You
doing
know,
that.
I had a history.
You will not get a stop
A
kid.
year ago, when I was coming from Green Oak Baptist.
Just everybody get on, all I want is everybody get on the same page. That's what I'm
I'm a constable, and I've been guilty of riding on that road. I'm not gonna deny that. When they told me to stop, I stopped. I've got a daughter who lives in Arizona. Now, Arizona, I didn't know that at the time, but it is a state thing. I thought it was local ordinances. I messed up. When I got it in, Arizona State, you can ride them anywhere other than a federal highway. You can get car insurance, but all this is with the state. Now, you have to have your rearview mirror, you have to have lights. Four-wheelers were not in, as far as being on the highway. The side-by-sides with a rearview mirror, headlights, and brake lights. No your arm signals was good, you didn't have to have labor, but you had to have insurance, you had to have a valid driver's license, and 18 and under had to have a helmet, even on the side-by-side. But again, you know, that was, I thought it was local ordinances, because you can drive to Phoenix, Arizona, downtown. I did not know that it was a state thing. You can go under government of Arizona, and it's legal to ride on highways except for the federal highways.
Texas has the same law.
So I don't know if we can, I don't think we can go against our state like I said, but I'd like to see it somehow. People around here have been riding. Horace Alford was a town council member when I was a kid. He rode this three-wheeler up and down these roads everywhere. We're not a big city, Wofford. We're not, most of the roads around here, you drive 100 yards. Well, I'm illegal. I can't do that. Go see my granddaughter or whatever. I was hoping that we could pass something that we could legally, you know, without, you know, getting a ticket or anything, even, maybe even say, charge a $25 fee a year and register. But again, I wasn't thinking about the, you know, the insurance. I've got full coverage on mine, but that's not like having car insurance. That's just something completely different. So I don't know where to go from there.
We need to do something, because this comes up every time on my list. We got a lot of people running here riding. If you got one or two that mess up and tears up and runs crazy or something, you need to try to do something with them. There's no use punishing everybody for what one person can do.
They don't take anybody acting crazy on the cause of accident. I mean, accidents.
Oh, I know that, but you can have an accident going to work. I do it every morning.
If somebody,
Yeah.
they reckon it's somebody's personal vehicle,
Yeah.
then
That's what-
that vehicle, or that owner of the vehicle, that was a bunch of money.
I've been into all that. I've been sued a few times over people just coming to my place or somebody running into a vehicle or something. Anybody can do that. Anybody in the state of Louisiana, it says that you can't sign waiver of responsibility. No trespassing signs, no driving tractors, anything up and down the highway. You still responsible. It don't matter in the state of Louisiana. I can tell you that. I've been to court and everything.
Are these side by sides key? And then, are they key like a car?
Yeah, they have an additional, I had one in my house.
Okay.
I mean, I was driving down 6th Street too. If something happened, I mean,
I understand about the insurance. I'm not.
We don't pay.
If I happen to have a state trooper ride down the road, even if they say it's okay, I don't know how that would work. This morning, I had a state trooper right in front of our house on Fraser Street, and I didn't know him. He wasn't the one that I normally would know. He wasn't somebody that's from here. And, you know, he might ride in the shed and follow me. So I really, I like to, but I don't know where to go from doing it unless you can make a, you know, I don't think you can do an ordinance against the state law, so I don't get it.
We leave our stuff wide open for lawsuit or something did happen.
if you have one registered farm vehicle, you're allowed to drive them side by side, or ATV.
7 miles.
Within 5 miles. Within 7 miles of your farm.
You have to have on them, you have to have a triangle.
As long as you're trying to sign it.
But you do have to have a registered
One vehicle with a registered farm tag.
About a year ago, a prime example, we had a church, and it was about 8 o'clock, we got out there, it was dark, coming down 389, going the speed limit, and everything was, I ran up on this girl, and she had ran out of gas, she was about 15, 16 years old, sitting right there in the middle of the road, no lights on, she turned it, lights off, turn signals and everything else, we had to heat our brakes to keep from hitting. I waited there with the lights on and everything. I was just shaking, but finally somebody came along, an adult came along and said, "What's wrong here?" She said she ran out of home, and I should have told her that. But, you know, it was that
I
close.
like running with a woman right there at the junction curve. Her car broke down, she was standing in the road her first morning.
Or herself.
She didn't have nothing.
Things can happen.
Well, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, like I said, I'm not in the favor of passing any kind of ordinance that's going to go against the state law. But I think common sense needs to be used and, go that way. What I would like to see done. And say and I'd like to see all the police officers on the same wavelength as far as what they're doing, what they're not going to do.
I think the biggest thing.
I know there's a lot of things going on in town, it's a lot worse than people out in Portland, or side to side, or whatever you call it. So,
I think the biggest thing we're gonna run into is, technically, like I say, we don't see a lot of adults on it. I think I might see one or two, and that's guys going to deer feed, going to check their stand or something. Biggest thing I see is, you gotta be 16 years of age to operate this thing anyhow. And
That's a four-wheel,
Yeah,
that's anytime.
And we're gonna have these kids get on these side by sides, the four wheelers, gonna argue with us, saying, "Oh no, it's perfectly different," and we're gonna get a big argument with it. And I've dealt with a lot of kids, and I've stopped a lot of kids on the same to tell, "Look, take it home, can't be out there." I haven't wrote a ticket, but they get up there, they're gonna act a fool, and then they're gonna argue with us, and that's a big thing. I mean, I like to see it, I like to ride around the deer stand, but it's gonna
Well, I
cause
know, just last week, I was trying to grab a tractor and go right down to the middle of town to get home with it, I don't know how to get it there. And, I didn't realize I was breaking the law, but I actually was. I mean, I stayed on the side as much as I could, and went on the back streets as much as I could, but it was still breaking the law, with the four-wheel, the tractor was running over on it.
Michael, is the age limit law?
16, to operate a UTV, or ATV. Unless it's under, I think, 150 cc, something like that.
So you all need to pull over everybody that's suspect.
Sorry.
You all need.
I have been pulling over everybody and telling them it could be on the street with them. I have been doing that, but I have never wrote a ticket.
If,
And some of them.
if y'all do decide to pass the ordinance, that's fine. But whoever is operating the vehicle, they're gonna have to possess a driver, valid driver.
Well, I'm not in favor of passing an ordinance because I agree with Al that I think we're opening ourselves up for a lot of trouble.
Well, I know the town of Welsh has an ordinance for golf carts. The speed limit is like 25, you have to have turn signals, brake lights.
That's only on certain roads too.
Yeah, they have crossings marked in town across the main highway.
Right.
That's a farm in town too. I mean,
Yeah.
most of them holler.
They don't ride, they will not allow side by side in that town. Right.
John, could we not pass an ordinance? I mean, is it going to require a fine for underage drivers to the owners?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's already covered in the statute. I think in Title 40 of the criminal code, you're gonna have any kind of traffic violation and you'd be able to write something under that. So I think all of this would be rendered moot because the state already has jurisdiction over the entire state. I think they've already set out what you can and can't do. I think the exception with the driving farm vehicles on the side of the road, for farm purposes, we're not talking, everything we're talking about tonight, we're talking about people that are driving for enjoyment, that's not farm purposes. Talking about kids driving and doing donuts on the road, that's not farm purposes. We're not talking about farm purposes here, which is exclusion to the main law is talking
I
about.
couldn't bother with the tractor.
So, I mean, I think there may be an exclusion that would, I believe you may be able to drive tractors
You
on the
can
road.
operate
Yeah.
tractors.
And that you
on
may even
those
have,
city streets.
you may even have the right of way, as in if someone else would have to yield to. I think that may be a possibility. But as far as putting ATVs on the road and an ordinance that will allow that, I think it open you up to a lot of liability. And I think the state of Louisiana will be able to challenge you and sue you to shut down the ordinance because it's a separation of powers and you're trying to overcome the state.
All right.
And I'm sure when people buy them ATVs, that they don't tell you, hey, you're gonna run into problems, you know, but, what they ought to have is trailer right next to it and say that's what you
Well, I
got to
live
do.
out there close to all. My son's got a side by side, got four wheels, I got tractors, I got cows and all that. But, and he got stopped, and he don't talk about nothing. You know. But it's the whole thing of just saying, no, you ride that granddaughter of mine around in the evenings. I do a garden over Travis's, water barriers at the house. I go over down there with a tractor, and I get on the four wheels, go and check on the garden, this, that, all the time, so. If I'm gonna get stopped, I wanna know about it, I wanna know what the fine is and what I gotta do to change something, or do something.
This is confusing, the thing. Some people, they ride these four-wheelers, or nobody stop them. They always want to hire new people, new person, they have, he don't know the law, he ain't gonna stop them. That's what you, that's,
$1,485.
It's not all one ticket.
It's not all one ticket. By the time you finish writing it, it's over $1,400.
And plus, you can't get your vehicle impounded.
But you what?
Impounded.
You can impound a four-wheeler, fines over $1,400.
Well, I ain't right. All along.
Well, I say, I think we just need to be on the same page and use common sense.
It's on Parish Road, and inside the city limits, it don't matter. They're gonna like state police, same way. They're not gonna go by these town ordinances, they're gonna go by their rules.
That's why we try to be lenient and say, hey, I don't think it happened.
I had one guy got stopped one day. The guy told us, as long as you stay off of the road, you can go with four-wheeler. If you get on that highway, they got tag you.
As long as you're 20 foot off the roadway, you can legally ride it. But the problem is, most people gotta cross the highway to get to where they're going. Not everybody, but quite a few of them on the other side of town, so they have to cross the highway to get to where they're going.
So we all get on the same page. Any further discussion? I'd like to see a motion made that, we let Mr. Welber, next meeting, bring back our state laws, pertaining side by side, four-wheeler, and, this will be discussed at our next meeting.
So,
Second, all in favor of that?
Do we still stop them, or do we let them keep going until next week?
That's time.
Next under new business is a 3-inch diesel diaphragm pump, which has already been purchased. We have a CWEF grant, which is good for another year with the state. And we still have a little over $20,000 left in it after the town bought this pump from Rural Pipe out of Jasper. The town will be reimbursed for that $4,700 when it comes back from Baton Rouge. It's already been sent to Baton Rouge, and it's already been approved through them. It's just a formality that you have to go through. You have to buy it, pay for it, and then send it to Baton Rouge on the CWEF grant. When we get our money back, it came out of the contingency fund for the water utilities. Is that correct? Utility fund. Okay. Once this money comes back from Baton Rouge, it'll go back in that account. So it's not like that it won't ever get back into the account, $4,700. Any discussion on that?
What is it using?
Well, they have it's really a slime pump is what it is. When you have a major water leak, and it's built to take that, it won't stop up, and you can run it dry too. They have everything, hoses, pump, the whole 9 yards. And it's something the town's been needing for a long time. So they got a little diaphragm pump down there. You throw it off in a hole, and first thing you know, you done plugged it up. So you got to unstop it, reprime it, start it back up, start all over again. This pump, it doesn't work like that. It keeps on going.
Which wonderful, we got a grant that's going to cover that. It's even more wonderful when we got a grant that's going to cover it.
Right. Right.
Can't go wrong.
And we still have a little over $20,000 left under this CWEF grant. We have to have this one. Okay. All right. Police personnel, that falls under the chief here. You're up.
All right, first of all, I'd like to recommend that Eric Kendall be terminated. There's some reasons behind that, I'd rather not discuss with the public.
Is this the same guy we talked about last time?
Yes. I believe I'm supposed to everybody except coach. I can't never catch a coach. Every time I go by there, I think he's asleep. Asleep with you late.
I'll say that.
I think I gotta make a motion on that. For
I make a
terminate Eric Kendall.
I'll say.
If anybody has any questions after the council meeting, I'll be more than glad to say about it.
We need to go ahead and make sure.
Okay. And I'm gonna take Daniel Isabel off of the police personnel list. He voluntarily resigned without notice, or 2 days notice, so. And I would like to recommend Paul Jordan. I brought him before the council, a couple council meetings ago.
That's the best I think we need to do all that.
One step at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
Okay.
We gotta finish the first one, and then
I'll try to make a motion to cancel
We
it.
voted, but we need to.
yeah, we make a motion, but we have to vote.
Okay.
That's for 10.
All right. All in favor of terminating Officer Eric?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Vote for. All right, that motion has been carried. On this carried. Now your next one's up.
I'd like to take Daniel Isabel off the police personnel list. He voluntarily resigned.
Was he a full-time?
Yes, sir, he's a full-time.
What was going on there? Ready to go?
So that's not motion. Okay. So now how many you got now?
As of right now, it's me and Kevin.
Yeah.
That's it. If they'd be riding side by side, we wouldn't even know about it. So kind of like,
Yeah, we got more. You got one there. Put back there too.
that's the full-time officer, that's all we need. This, I had reserved, but it's on me.
I make a motion.
Well, what's your background here? You tell us where you coming
I
from.
thought we were still on Daniel. We're still on Daniel.
Now, Isabel, you gotta give the motion.
Yeah, anybody got any motion?
No, the agenda.
He resigned, he's out.
Okay.
Let's see.
You got some people that wasn't here last meeting, what I was going about.
Yeah.
We get that. He's Louisiana Post Certified Officer. His experience, he conducted criminal investigations, which includes not limited to assaults, batteries, felonies, misdemeanor cases, conducted patrol duties, enforced all laws, including but not limited to traffic, criminal, civil laws, and will call complaints over the phone, walk-in complaints, and on citizen complaints. He is, field sobriety, certified officer, and instructor. He worked for the Merryville Parish Sheriff's Office as a shift supervisor in the jail for 2 years. Shift supervisor. He was with them from January 1st, 2010 to,
So he wouldn't have to go to the school, we had to send new officers.
He's done all that.
Part of the deal, when you hire a new man, he gives a resolution to every one of the council when he can read for himself. And then they decide if you get high, double high. Part of the, one of these will be issued to each council.
You want to read this stuff?
you want to read this? I had to start this paper, right? Might not be organized, and I just blocked it.
In the last place you worked at was where?
It's been 2.5 years in West Police Department.
Where do you live at?
Any reason you left there?
Too far to drive. I mean, it was 62.5 miles one way.
Okay, I make a motion that we accept Paul's ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Mr. Gentleman, like you overqualified for this job.
You look like you're a pretty good sized boy, so I don't think you're being intimidated out there when you pull somebody over, you know, so that's good.
All right, welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Now we're up for public participation. Anybody?
I'd just like to know when Mud Park will get started.
Two more couples are ordered.
Two more what?
Those will probably be ordered this month.
Two more what? Two more what?
Oh, concrete cover,
Okay,
30-inch diameter.
okay.
The school gave us 4, I say us, the town. And, ordered 2 8-footers. Darn price out of Westlake, I believe that's where that's at. And then after that, we'll have a resolution sent to the police jury for them to put them in, and then we'll go from there.
Where are you going to be putting the covers in?
On Weaver Street,
I got a question. What's going on with the town owns the cemetery? They didn't get approved. What's the deal out
I
there?
don't know, they got a meeting here the 23rd. I got it on the calendar. They got a meeting here at 7 o'clock on the 21st of this month.
Yeah.
Like you got a good man.
Talking about cemetery. There's a meeting, I guess, they quarter meeting. I don't know if that's one of them.
They got all, almost all the way through and they look like.
I don't know what's going on with that. Can't answer that. I'm trying to stay out of that cemetery.
I thought everybody was dying again.
You may go.
Not quite yet.
Any more participation? If not, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all for coming out tonight. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you.